First Lady of the Republic of Lithuania. Ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. The First Lady of the Republic of Lithuania, Mrs. Diana Nausėdienė, Your Excellencies, Ambassadors to Lithuania, Professor, Rector of Vytautas Magnus University, organizer and participants of today's International Forum, Community of Ukrainian Center, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me a great pleasure to welcome you at the International Forum, 2 years of Invincibility, strengthening Ukrainian community leadership. We are so grateful to see so many of you here today as we demonstrate the unity of Lithuania and Ukraine. And I'm extremely grateful for exceptional friendship, support, and solidarity. This forum is dedicated to strengthening and empowering Ukrainian communities in Lithuania. It offers a special chance for leaders and organizations, communities to connect, exchange stories, and create partnership to support the growth and resilience of the Ukrainian community in the area. The forum agenda will consist of 2 sessions involving panel discussions featuring speakers from governmental and non-governmental spheres from Lithuania, Ukraine, and other countries with experience in the field of civil society development. So I'm very delighted to invite to open our International Forum the First Lady of the Republic of Lithuania, Mrs. Diana Nausėdienė, the patron of the Ukrainian Center. Džiaugiuosi galėdama pakviesti atidaryti forumą pirmoji Lietuvos Республікos поня Діана Наусєдєнє. З великою повагою та честю запрошую відкрити інтернаціональний форум першу леді Литовської Республіки пані Діану Наусєдєнє.
Gerbėmieji, nuoširdžiai sveikinu visus šiandien susirinkusius į tarptautinį forumą šioje unikalioje vietoje Ukrainos centre. Leiskite priminti, šiandien yra vasario 24. Šiandien sukanka lygiai 2 metai nuo tos dienos, kuomet Rusija vienašališkai pamynusi šalių suverenumo, civilizuoto tarptautinio sugyvenimo principus įsiveržė į Ukrainą ir kaip šalis agresorė pradėjo žiaurų, brutalų, nepaskelbtą karą, kuris nuvilnijo skaudžių humanitarinių krizių banga per visą pasaulį. Karas dėja tęsiasi iki šiol, generuodamas milžiniškus geopolitinius, humanitarinius, socialinius, kultūrinius, aplinkosauginius ir ekonominius nuostolius visose žemynuose. Šių iracionalių procesų egzistavimas yra groteskiškai absurdiškas. Ir žvelgiant iš strateginės lyderystės užduočių perspektyvos, vis mažiau koreliuoja su pamatiniais žmonijos egzistencijos poreikiais bei demokratiniais šalių, kultūrų ir žmonių sugyvenimo principais. Ateities lyderių forume turime atsigręžti į vadybos teoriją, kuri sako, kad tikras lyderis analizuoja ir vertina kiekvieną situaciją, siekdamas naujų ir geresnių rezultatų. Vadybos autoritetas Peteris Druckeris patikslina, cituoju, vadyba teisingai daro dalykus, o lyderystė siekia teisingų dalykų. Citatos pabaiga. Aš savo ruožtu pridėčiau remarką, lyderystė turi siekti teisingų dalykų laiku. Tai mes šiandien ir darome, sutelkdami jūs visus Ukrainos centre daugiašaliam polilogui. Kartu su Ukrainos pirmąja ponia Olena Zelenska kviečiame jį vystyti toliau. Dėkoju bendrasteigėjui ir strateginiam partneriui Vytauto Didžiojo universitetui už institucinę lyderystę ir academical boots on the ground. Tikiu, kad universiteto, Ukrainos ambasados įdirbio dėka forume nuskambės daug vertingų pranešimų ir įžvalgų. Kreipiuosi į auditoriją kaip į ateities lyderius. Jūsų šiandienos pozicija, sprendimai ir kasdieniniai pasirinkimai suformuos žmonijos ateitį. Kaip jūsų veikla įtakos ir keis ateities kartų gyvenimus, priklauso nuo to, kokia yra jūsų ateities vizijos vertybinė ašis. Karas paženklintas siaubingais nusikaltimais žmoniškumui negali tęstis, jei vertybės egzistuoja. Ar turime drąsos tapti 21 amžiaus lyderiais, ginančiais universaliasias, žmogiškasias vertybės cross-culturally? Tai yra atviras klausimas kiekvienam iš mūsų, kiekvieno Ukrainos laisvės gynėjo gyvybė beldžia į žmonijos širdį, kviesdama rinktis teisingai. Prašau visų tylos minutę pagerbti Ukrainos didvyrius ir prisiminti, kad jie kovoja ir kasdien žūsta, gindami pamatinės žmogaus teises, tarptautinės teisės normas ir teisės viršenybės principus pasaulyje. Dėkoju. Demokratinė logika yra grįsta bendradarbiavimo tinklų kūrimu ir bendruomenių įgalinimo kelionė. Štai kodėl kultūra tampa strateginės lyderystės objektu, o minkštoji galia vienu iš efektyviausių tarpininkų sprendžiant žmonijos problemas. Šiandien susirinkome čia ne tik kaip socialiai aktyvūs ir atsakingi individai, bet kaip kolektyvinė tarptautinė jėga, kaip bendruomenės nariai pasiruošę tęsti civilizuotas humanitarinės tradicijas, kurti naujas iniciatyvas, puoselėti prasmingus ryšius akademinėme lygmenyje ir stiprinti tarptautinio bendradarbiavimo tinklą. Šis Lietuvos ir Ukrainos pirmųjų ponių globojamas forumas sutelkia skirtingose srityse veikiančius žmonės galimybei kalbėti apie civilizacinę pažangą, būtinus pokyčius ir iššūkius ateities lyderiams per aktualius klausimus. Ukrainos pilietinė visuomenė, jos lyderius ir jų svarbų vaidmenį Ukrainos atstatymo ir eurointegracinėme procesuose. Ukrainos pirmoji pora nenuilstamai rodo ypatingą asmeninę lyderystę. Jo ekscelencija Volodymyras Zelenskis savo istoriniu, asmenybinio dviriškumo pavyzdžių įkvėpė galybei žmonių tikėjimą ir demokratijos pergalę, ir pilietinio pasipriešinimo galia. Nuoširdžiausia pagarba nenuilstamam, kūrybingam Ukrainos komandiniam darbui. Prezidentūros, parlamento, vyriausybės, Ukrainos universiteto atstovų ir kitų intelektualų gebėjimams nuolat išrasti ir užvesti komandinį perpetuum mobile Ukrainos pergaliai pasiekti. Taip pat svarbu pažymėti svarų Ukrainos pirmosios ponios Olenos Zelenskos asmeninį indėlį į minkštosios galios efektyvumo didinimą. Komandinė parama Olenos veikloms ir Ukrainos pirmosios ponios raiškos formų įvairovės stiprinimas tarptautinėje erdvėje pakilėjo į naują lygį humanitarinių iniciatyvų horizontą ir aprėptis pasaulio praktikoje. Dėkoju Ukrainos komandai ir Olenai už nuolatinį bendradarbiavimą bei bendrą Ukrainos centro globą. Visos mūsų bendros iniciatyvos žymi moterų lyderystės turinio kaitą šiuolaikinėme pasaulyje ir jos naują kokybę. Ukrainos centras Lietuvoje ir jo humanitarinės iniciatyvos, tokios kaip šis forumas, yra atsvara griaunamajam karo poveikiui. Tai atvira kultūrinė, kūrybinė, humanitarinė platforma mūsų mąstymui ir idėjoms auginti, sutelkianti visą pažangų bendradarbiavimo potencialą. Tarp ukrainiečių ir lietuvių bendruomenių mums Lietuvoje reikėjo aiškiau suvokti, kogi reikia patiems ukrainiečiams. 2023 pavasarį Ukrainos centras kartu su Vytauto didžiojo universitetu pradėjo ukrainiečių gyvenančių Lietuvoje poreikių tyrimą. Duomenis rinkome visose Lietuvos regionuose. Lygiagrečiai Ukrainos centro darbuotojai lankėsi įvairiose Lietuvos savivaldybėse. Susitikimuose su vietos bendruomenė identifikavo bendruomenių lyderius ir lietuvius ir ukrainiečius, kuriuos džiugu čia šiandien matyti ir pasveikinti asmeniškai. Rezultatai leidžia žvelgti į regioninio tinklo ateitį pozityviai. Ukrainos centras tapo traukos centru ukrainiečiams ne tik Vilniuje, bet ir kituose Lietuvos regionuose. Ukrainos centre suorganizuota daugiau nei 3000 skirtomis vietos bendruomenėmis, telkiant jas ir prisidedant prie jų stiprinimo. Centre jau antrus metus aktyvi Youth Think Tank iniciatyva, kuri sutelkia politikus, mokslininkus, visuomenės veikėjus, kurie kartu su Ukrainos jaunąja karta diskutuoja ir ieško atsakymų į eurointegracijos, saugumo, socialinės raidos ir kitus rūpimus klausimus. Esu įsitikinusi, kad ukrainiečių bendruomenės, turėjusios palikti savo šalį dėl žiauraus karo ir pasklidusios po visą pasaulį, turi potencialo tapti aktyvia, integralia Ukrainos dalimi. Mes turime padėti Ukrainai stiprinti valstybės ir diasporos ryšį, skatinti tautinės tapatybės išsaugojimą, sudaryti sąlygas Ukrainos diasporai atkurti savo šalį po karo ir padėti susigrąžinti savo piliečius namo. Lietuvos istorijoje okupacijos metu nuosekli diasporos parama buvo nepamainomas tvirtybės šaltinis mums siekiant laisvės. Paskelbus nepriklausomybę, ją įtvirtinant, siekiant šalies narystės Europos Sąjungoje ir NATO, be bendražygių, be aktyvių diasporos pastangų, šių strateginių uždavinių mes būtume tiesiog nepajėgę įgyvendinti. Diasporos jėga, jos intelektualinis ir vakarietiškas akademinis potencialas buvo ir atrama, ir įkvėpimo šaltinis mūsų šalies žmonėms, stiprinant demokratinę Lietuvą. Todėl neabejoju, kad skaitlinga, intelektuali, kūrybinga ir aktyvi ukrainiečių diaspora yra būtina Ukrainos sėkmės sąlyga. Kviečiu visus ukrainiečius, kurie būrėsi ir bendrauja Ukrainos centre, kurie gauna pagalbą ir mokosi čia, aktyviai prisidėti savo idėjomis, entuziazmu, kūrybinė galia prie Ukrainos dabarties iššūkių įveikimo. Mūsų visų bendros pastangos reikalingos siekiant Ukrainos pergalės ir suklestėjimo. Sveikinu ateities vizionierius, įvairiatautį bendražygių tinklą, visus aktyvius lyderius Lietuvoje, linkėdama efektyvaus bendradarbiavimo. Šviesa visada nugali tamsą. Tai dėsnis. Garbė jos nešėjams. Slava Ukraini!
Nuoširdžiai dėkojame, pirmą ponia, už tokius įkvėpančius žodžius, bei nesibaigianti pagalbą ir palaikymą Ukrainai ir ukrainiečiams Lietuvoje. Thank you so much for your inspiring words and tireless efforts to support Ukraine and Ukrainians in Lithuania. And now, for your attention, I would like to present a video greetings from the First Lady of Ukraine, Олена Зеленська.
Шановні присутні, дорогі друзі, литовські й українські, дорога Діана, ми збираємося у тяжку для України дату – другу річницю російського вторгнення. Щойно була хвилина мовчання, але знадобилося б вже тисячі таких хвилин, щоб згадати всіх українців, кого вбив ворог, всіх, кому покалічив життя. На війні особливо страшно буває, коли щось таке, як обстріл чи загибель, відбувається вперше. Але не менш жахливо, коли це стає рутиною. Перетворюється на статистику. Не можна допускати, щоб на статистику перетворювалися людські життя. Сьогоднішня виставка «Невидані дипломи» показує 40 доль студентів, які так і не отримали свій диплом. Загинули на війні. Всього 40, бо їх, на жаль, значно більше. І найменше, що можна зробити для них – пам'ятати і згадувати. Ми пройшли 2 роки втрат, але це були також 2 роки незламності. нашої спільної незламності, в якій є потужна доля Литви. Ви в перших лавах довели, що друзі пізнаються в біді. І ці друзі – ви, дорогі литовці. Якщо в інших країнах мене часто питають, чому їм важливо підтримувати Україну, то тут мені ніколи не доводилося цього пояснювати. Бо ви з власного досвіду знаєте, що загарбників треба спиняти, а не вмовляти. Ви з часів Другої світової війни знаєте, що таке зіштовхнутися з агресією. Дякую вам за вашу пам'ять і непохитну принциповість. Вся ваша допомога від першого прийнятого українця до цього центру, за який не втомлююся дякувати пані Діані і університету Вітовта Великого, це вияв цієї беззастережної дружби. Український центр в Литві задумувався як осередок для українців, змушених покинути країну через війну. Але він точно став чимось більшим. Він вже вкотре стає платформою для великих заходів – від саміту Формули миру президента Зеленського до міжнародної конференції з інтеграції українських вишів до європейського простору. Центр став не лише українським серцем Литви, він стає потужним експертним осередком, де голоси наших двох країн звучать сильніше. Сьогоднішній захід – ще один доказ тому. Він присвячений лідерству української спільноти. І саме завдяки центрові це лідерство в Литві особливе. Бо цей центр – перший і єдиний такий в ЄС. І якщо хтось може ділитися досвідом лідерства, то з повним правом він. І тут ще раз хочу подякувати всім причетним, кожному, хто тут працює, вкладаючи свій час і душу. Пані першій леді, не знаю, як у вас вистачає на все сил, але результат вражаючий. Дорогі українці, нам дійсно дуже потрібне ваше лідерство всюди, де ви зараз є. Кожен ваш голос важливий, а тут, у Литві, маєте ще й такий потужний підсилювач, як центр. Ми вже стали лідером в обороні, не тільки себе, а й світової безпеки. Але найбільше хочемо стати лідером у відбудові і побудові країни для людей і їхніх можливостей. Для вас і разом із вами, не забуваючи нікого і ніде, ані загиблих, ані живих. Дякую, Литва, дякую, друзі, литовські і українські.
And now to continue, with great pleasure, I would like to invite on stage Rector of Vytautas Magnus University, Professor Juozas Agutis.
Yeah, after such sensitive words, it's difficult to talk. But anyway, Your Excellencies, Ambassadors, dear Ms. Diana Nausėdienė, dear participants conference. It is my big honor to welcome you today at the center of Ukraine in Vytautas Magnus University, the opening of a very important community forum. We are here to reflect on the resilience, invincibility, and strength of the Ukrainian community amidst the horrible challenges and atrocities faced over the past 2 years. This forum unites us for the peaceful and happy future of Ukraine and Europe. 2 years have passed since the beginning of the terrible war, which changed not only the life of Ukraine, but altered the whole Europe and the international community. Today, Ukraine is defined the free world of the human values by stopping Russia in the battlefield. The people of Ukraine continue to fight heroically for their future and for the future of the all democratic world. And therefore, they will win. In time of adversity, through leadership appears. The Ukrainian community has shown incredible courage, determination, and solidarity in the face of unprecedented challenges. we have witnessed the unwavering commitment of individuals who have become beacons of hope, guiding the community through the storms and uncertainties. The past 2 years have been marked by trials that have tested our collective resolve. In the outbreak of the full-scale war in Ukraine, Vytautas Magnus University has accepted more than 300 Ukrainian students, and on the initiative of the First Ladies of Lithuania and Ukraine, Mrs. Diana Nausėdienė and Mrs. Olena Zelenskaya, and in the partnership with the Embassy of Ukraine, opened the Center of Ukraine. Soon after the opening, we realized that it was not only a safe haven for the Ukrainians who have left without their homes, but also significant hub for cultural diplomacy, aiding Ukraine in its Euro integration processes and expanding its academic potential. The center has already attended by more than 37,000 Ukrainians and visited by high-ranking officials and foreign guests. In 2023, it witnessed a NATO summit, and in early 2024, the Ukrainian community of the center was honored by the visit of the President of Ukraine, Honorary Doctor of Vytautas Magnus University, Volodymyr Zelensky. The space is actively used by Ukrainian artists for the art and art therapy. It holds creative workshops for children and gives other supports. VMU students from Ukraine actively participate in community and volunteering activities in the center and firmly believe that the experience gained at Vytautas Magnus University will aid them in rebuilding their homeland. As we engage meaningful discussion during this forum, let us seek innovation solutions, share best practices, and build partnership that will future trends other communities, Lithuania and Ukraine. Together we can ensure that the next chapter in Ukrainian history are written in the ink of unity, democracy, and security. Thank you again, and may this forum be a catalyst for positive changes in the year to come. Thank you very much.
We want to express our sincere gratitude to you, Professor, and the entire university community for your kindness, generosity, and unwavering support of the Ukrainian Center community. Well, I have to announce the First Lady has to leave, so let us thanks once more for the visit and support. Deja, pirmoji ponia turi išvykti, tai leiskite dar kartelį jums padėkoti už jūsų laiką ir apsilankymą. Перша леді повинна нас покинути, отож ще раз щиро дякуємо за вашу підтримку та візит. Thank you. Let's begin the first session of our international forum, Empowering Ukrainian Voices, drawing on best practices of Lithuania. I would like to invite Vice Rector Vilma Bereikienė for presentation by Vytautas Magnus University, the Center of Ukraine, Good Practices of Ukrainian Community Development in Lithuania and Opportunities for Cooperation.
Добрий день. Hello everyone, dear colleagues, dear students, dear school children, dear esteemed guests, Your Excellencies, ambassadors. It's a big honor to be here today and to be able to present the Center of Ukraine at Vytautas Marius University and the activity that the center has been carrying out to strengthen the potential of Ukrainian community leaders. First of all, let me start with giving a little bit of numbers of how much the Center of Ukraine has been engaged in making the Ukrainian community in Lithuania stronger, in giving the opportunities for the Ukrainian community to actually carry on the different activities and to become stronger together. So as you can see from the numbers, since we established the Ukrainian Center in July of 2022, we have had over 36,000 of visits in the center. And there were around 4,000 of different activities delivered for adults and children and for, well, including the psychological support, different educational activities, different activities for realization of the creative potential. And what is absolutely important when we think about and when we talk about the building of community leadership is that around 60% of different activities were arranged by Ukrainians for Ukrainians, and that is a big signature of community potential. We can also see that over 2,050 Ukrainians received psychological support. And again, among the team of therapists, psychologists, we have Ukrainians who have joined this, this initiative. And we can also see that around 5,000 of community members had a possibility to study the languages, Lithuanian, English, Ukrainian, and we see a big demand for language learning, and that's where we try to actually help the Ukrainian community. The First Lady of Ukraine, Pani Olena Zelenska, introduced the Books Without Border initiative. And in our Ukrainian center, around 4,000 of books were distributed to Ukrainian children in different parts of Lithuania. The First Lady of Lithuania, Mrs. Diana Nausėdienė, already mentioned that there was a survey carried out last year, which joined potential of VMU scholars and the NGO of Create Lithuania. And the aim of this survey was to look into the needs of different Ukrainian communities emerging all around Lithuania. And 623 participants took part in that survey and expressed their feelings, their current situation, how they actually accommodate themselves in Lithuania. And it included all major cities of Lithuania and spread over 10 regions of Lithuania. So that covered quite a broad spectrum. The survey looked into the educational needs, employment situation, all kinds of things that are important for Ukrainians to settle in different communities. And one of the things that we understood from the survey was that we really need initiatives for Ukrainian communities, strengthening their capacity to network, to be together, to write projects for communities, and to really learn from good practices. I will talk about two initiatives that were carried out at the Center of Ukraine here. So one of them was the Youth Think Tank Initiative, which started here in Vilnius, but also spread in Kaunas. So we had 6 events in Vilnius, 2 events in Kaunas, and there were around 400 of participants, mostly students from general education, Ukrainians and Lithuanians coming together, discussing, listening to different experts, and thinking about how they should develop themselves to become true leaders for Lithuania and for Ukraine. And you can see that there were a lot of prominent speakers who participated in think tanks, starting from the First Lady of Lithuania, Diana Nausėdienė, the speakers of the Lithuanian Parliament and Ukrainian Parliament, ambassadors, all different kind of experts who can truly inspire the future community leaders. Now, if we look at the topics that were covered in the think tanks, so we see that they spread from different perspectives of the development of civic society, the diaspora situations in the global context, and that will be absolutely important for Ukraine in the future. Looking at how inclusiveness can be developed in cities, looking at different ways of coping with psychological problems, looking into how Lithuania and Ukraine could further develop their situations in Europe, and looking also at technologies, having experts who talked about technologies for different spheres, even for therapy issues. Another important community development activity was the community accelerator, and today we have the participants of that of these workshops. So there were 2 sessions of the course that extended over 5 days, including 30 hours. It started in December on the 7th and 9th, and it finished in January on the 19th, 20th. And it was organized with a very important partnership. And we are very grateful for the cultural institutes who supported the initiative. Goethe Institute, Lithuanian Cultural Institute, Polish Institute, French Institute. Think tanks were also done with the collaboration of the British Council, who also added to this event. And the main aim of the participants, of the 30 participants who actually took part in this course, the main aim was to strengthen and empower Ukrainian communities in Lithuania, providing a unique opportunity for communities to network, to share good practice, and to develop their regional networks. If we look at the competencies that were developed in the community accelerators, so we can see that they extend from developing leadership skills to promote civic participation, to develop the skills to mobilize the community, to find different ways to engage them, to develop interinstitutional cooperation, to build partnerships, to write projects for the community, and to really have those capacities to engage everyone in the activities. And I would like to finish this presentation with a picture that was taken yesterday. And this picture was taken by the students at Vytautas Magnus University in our Ukrainian hub in Kaunas. And this action had a title that it was 2 years ago, on that day when peace ended in Europe, not only in Ukraine, but also in Europe. And this picture is a symbol showing that we need to stay united, we need to stay in that bright side and to defeat darkness with all our initiatives, with all our potential. And at university, that is what we're doing. We're trying to give the young people the capacity, the skills they need to become really true leaders of the future. And we're happy that all students from different nationalities, from different parts of the world, come and support Ukrainian students' initiatives. So thank you for listening, and I really wish everyone to have fruitful discussions today and a really important day for community building. Thank you.
Thank you once more for incredible presentation. And would like to invite Robert Van Warren, head of Vytautas Magnus University, Andrei Sakharov Research Center for Democratic Development, with another presentation, Development of Civil Society and Community Leadership, the Initiative of Change Makers.
Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for inviting me here for a brief talk about the work that we are doing here in Lithuania. Like every one of us, I have had people in my life that really put me on the path on which I am now. Mentors, people that really helped me to decide in my life in which direction to go. In my case, it was a famous Moscow dissident, Vladimir Bukovsky, who served 12 years. It was a Ukrainian psychiatrist, Semyon Gluzman, who served 10 years in camp for opposing the political views of psychiatry. And I always had this image of my uncle who was in the resistance and died at the age of 28 after 7 concentration camps, and who was the first to carry the pseudonym Robert Van Warren, which I'm carrying today. I came here to Vytautas Magnus University 14 years ago. Was invited to come here by Leonidas Donskis, a very prominent Lithuanian political activist, thinker, philosopher, dean of one of the faculties at the university. And together we started developing ideas how to use the university as a base to find and educate agents of change. So my whole career has been focusing not on institution building actually, but investing in people, trying to find agents of change and put them on the path to make a difference in life. And so Leonidas unfortunately, tragically died in 2016. He died at Vilnius airport. And ever since we've been trying to implement the ideas that we developed during the years that we were together and to make them actually happen. So we have this Andrei Sakharov Research Center in Kaunas. It's currently being reconstructed. We'll have a reopening on May the 21st, the birthday of Andrei Sakharov. I put on purpose, that's our team, and I put on purpose this photo on the left-hand side. These are friends from us. They're human rights activists in Chelyabinsk, so in Russia. They are the ones who helped Oleg Sentsov and Kolchenko to survive their period in camp in Russia. And actually, the funny thing is that because of the war, they started looking to their own past, and it turned out that Tanya is actually Lithuanian. She now has Lithuanian citizenship. Her father was from Kaunas and was executed. Kolya is from Kherson. He's Ukrainian. So they are kind of little islands in the middle of Russia trying to make a difference. So what we're doing is we're organizing annual Sakharov conferences, which are either here in Vilnius or in Kaunas. We organize annual Donskis conferences, which are conferences remembering Leonidas Donskis and the things that he stood for. We organize concerts. Concerts here in Lithuania, usually connected to one of our events. Concerts in Ukraine, in particular in Odessa. Sakharov concerts on December the 14th in the opera in Odessa. And so, for me, this whole idea of teaching at Vytautas Magnus University is an attempt to try to identify people that I think have potential in which it makes sense to invest because I see that they have a potential to become really these agents of change, right? And so for me, it's very important to give them all the possibilities that they need, to give them the feeling that they're equal. I may be older, I might have experienced more, but that doesn't mean I'm more intelligent or my view is better than theirs. It's also an issue of pushing them into the swimming pool. This is, they don't know whether they're able to do something. Well, you need to try, make a mistake. Mistake is only a mistake if you don't learn from it and improve it in the next time. And one thing that is, for me, very important, always humor, lots of humor. Even in the darkest hours, humor is one of the elements that gives us resilience, that gives us the chance to survive the hard days and continue in future. So, in a way, for me, it's all summarized in these two things. This is hanging on my wall. Think. They don't have to think what I'm thinking. I don't have to agree with them, but they need to think. Think what is happening around you. Think what is ahead of you. Think what you're going to do with your life. And this one I found on the wall of a director of the main prison on the island of Curaçao, off the coast of Venezuela. It's a small part of Holland. And it says, it's a papiamento. It says, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. So it's very simple. There's always a way out, but you need to use your brain and your abilities in order to find this way out and then learn from what happened with you. So we had these young changemaker dinners, bringing together young people and talking over dinner about key issues and trying to find solutions out of problems that are ahead. We had events especially focusing on the younger generation. For instance, this mapping Russian trolls in Lithuania. We had two experts coming from the Netherlands teaching young people how to find on social media what is trolling, what is false information. It's a matter of, you learn how to deal with your computer, then also learn how to identify trolls in your system. We had this I Am No Sakharov campaign, taking the image of Sakharov, and the whole idea is that young people, you don't have to be a Sakharov, but we all have a choice to make in life. I'm no Sakharov, but I'm going to defend human rights. I'm no Sakharov, but I'm against homophobia. I'm no Sakharov, but I am for, I'm not a racist. So everybody of us has a possibility of making a choice. We developed this dissident tour of Vilnius. It will be launched later this spring, which is focusing on young people who come to Vilnius and who have no idea anymore what happened in Vilnius in Soviet times. Vilnius was a center of dissidents. There were lots of things that were happening there, and you hardly see anything, right? And so our idea is that with this app on your smartphone, you go through the city, and people who were there and who were part of this will tell you the story of what happened in the city. These are some of our agents of change. So Letizia, Italian, Angelina, now at Johns Hopkins in New York, Ukrainian. Neringa is now one of our project managers. Maka is now in London. And these are people that we remain in touch with, and they come back to the university. For instance, when we have a conference and we need people to help us with organizing the conference, they come back and they're part of our team. Now, one thing that for me is very interesting, so I'm talking about what we're doing here, but I have this constant kind of stimulus knowing how many agents of change Ukraine has. Actually, for me, Ukraine is for me the country where, it's almost identical. Ukraine and agents of change. There's so many people there that are changing the situation, that are involved. And so I want to give you a few examples. This is my close friend, Semyon Gluzman. He was 22 when he dared to say that the Ukrainian general Pyotr Grigorenko was sent to psychiatric hospital for political reasons. It cost him 10 years of his life. There's a photo when he came out after 7 years of camp, and that's him a couple of weeks ago in Kiev. This is Maxim. A friend of mine found him hiding on Rushevsky in January 2014, during the attacks there, when 2 people were shot, and she took him home and hid him. Maxim joined the National Guard and has been fighting now for 10 years, and that's a photo of him in the fall of last year. Nazar. He's the son of a friend of mine. She's a filmmaker with whom we work a lot. Nazar is a violinist with a huge career in front of him, but he's now at the front, just like his father, and he's fighting for Ukraine. And the big fear, of course, is that if he survives, that his hearing will be so damaged that he will never be able to work as a violinist again. So for me, this is Ukraine, young people that are fighting for their future. And for me, the big tragedy is that a lot of these young people that are there to make the future of Ukraine are dying at the front. For me, this is very hard to stomach and to accept. So the next conference that we are organizing here in Kaunas is focusing on the mental effects on military and veterans of the war that is happening. Because these people that will survive the front, they will need all the help that they can get in order to manage the trauma and the traumatic events that they live through and continue building Ukraine as a society. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor. Amazing presentation and incredible work you do. And for the last and third presentation, I would like to invite Katerina Pedubna and Ilya Abelyashev, Ukrainian Leaders Project, applying successful collaboration models and best practices, reflection on Ukrainian community leaders.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, dear excellencies. Welcome to the International Forum, 2 years of Invincibility, strengthening the leadership of Ukrainian community. My name is Katerina, and this is Ilya, my colleague, and we are the participants of the Community Development Accelerator, the results of which we're proud to present today. And this accelerator has culminated in today's event. The expectations for the training were to create the conditions for promoting partnerships between Ukrainian and Lithuanian sides, namely for joint problem solving, designing projects from development to implementation, which will contribute to the growth of both communities and will receive funding. Of course, it would not have been possible without the hard work of our organizers, the continued support of the partners, and the proposals from the foundations. The purpose of the Community Accelerator was to improve the level of involvement of regional communities in various civic society activities, develop networks, and of course, initiate future actions. So, to talk about the reasons for creating this accelerator was that many communities in the regions lack knowledge and about the processes of solving community problems and initiate future action. Therefore, it was decided to have this training that would fill in the gaps. For example, provide community leaders with the skills necessary to promote civic engagement and community empowerment. Give training leaders an opportunity to meet various institutions and also organizations operating in Lithuania and work with Ukrainians living in Lithuania as well as help community leaders partner up and start community initiatives and projects aimed at solving existing problems.
And on this slide, we wanted to present you a geographical diversity of Ukraine. And we have members from 12 different regions from Ukraine. And 3 of these members are refugees twice because of full-scale invasion in Ukraine. And on this slide, we have marked the regions of communities in Lithuania, and our participants represented 13 Lithuanian organizations. 8 Ukrainian communities were involved in training, and a result of which 5 different projects collaboration were established.
Community Accelerator training consisted of a variety of different activities and variety of formats. They ensured that the most effective transfer of knowledge was done, and it was promoting practical trainings as well, of course, and it created the platform for fruitful collaboration between the participants. As you can see, that the networking here on the slide is the biggest part of the training itself. In terms of the lecturers, the experts that came to share their experiences, we learned and compared the structures of the state apparatus both in Lithuania and in Ukraine. We learned about various models of communities that function in both countries, and of course, types of modern societies and how they work.
During the trainings, we have diversity methods used. One of them was a tool called Lego Serious Play that helped to develop idea generation and creativity. As example, I already give the first steps of this tool to my theater, and it's really helped to visualize your idea and how we can work together. And yeah, it's very useful. And during the trainings, we focusing on stages of project development. From formalization with tools to understanding community needs, developing the ideas and reviewing the importance points of application, and even have change to assess real founded project application. And connection is the heart of any successful project. In this training, people had chance to get know each other better, to learn something about their life, their organization, their activities, to have culture exchange and get valuable opportunity to strengthen friendly relation between communities in different regions in Lithuania. Looking ahead, I would like to know that it develop and give the birth to a new initiative in civil society both in Ukraine and Lithuania. And during the training, we have many guests. We have also representatives from unique network in Lithuania that taught us how to work with our ideas, how to search the idea supporters, and among them, the British Council talked about an amazing initiative that they are running called People to People, which through common interests and aspirations, their initiative create more open and inclusive society. And Goethe Institute offered insights about how to work with German culture in Lithuania. And Polish Culture Institute shared the opportunity to support in the initiative related to Polish culture and art.
As it was mentioned in the presentation before ours, during this accelerator, we had 2 different trainings. And the first one was focused on civic engagement, and we learned how to identify the community needs and how to assess them, as well as community values and the principles of society functioning. In the second part of the training, of course, we had a little bit more practical activities, and we learned how to develop project ideas. We also received tips and practical recommendations on how to present your idea, and that it would get the necessary support. And an important insight for many of us was that we need to aim to search for an institution that would support our vision of the project, not to try to change the idea based on the framework of the existing support. And of course, the third one, the forum where we have gathered today to present our results, symbolizing the collaborative effort to achieve things that we want together. For instance, in the exit interview, the participants share their experience a little bit more explicitly about their participation. As you can see on this slide, 100% of the respondents indicated that the program of the training courses was relevant to their interests, therefore brought the most values to their needs and what they want to achieve further on. Additionally, it was mentioned that among the key follow-up actions, the respondents indicated that they want to take up the ideas they developed during the trainings, they want to continue to implement them and work together with other communities, and of course, finally, apply for project funding. And finally, and I think one of the most important ones, is that 100% of respondents would recommend the training courses to other participants. I think that is some kind of a great achievement. Finally, collaborations. And let's note that cooperation between the Ukrainian and Lithuanian communities to create a positive environment for the exchange of ideas and mutual support. On this picture on the right of the slide, you can see a picture from the festival Švento Kalėdos Ukrainietiškai in Šiauliai, where the communities joined together to celebrate Christmas together. It makes us really proud to see that how inviting the civil society representatives are from different communities and how they want to join together to solve collective problems, to celebrate and exchange experience, and finally strive to achieve common goals. Another example of collaboration is this workshop of artist Nata Didenko, who's also one of the participants at our accelerator. She created a vytinanka, or cutout, called Freedom, which now is an exhibit at the National Museum of Lithuania. Together with the Ukrainian Center, Nata collaborated on a masterclass of a trident cutout. And finally, an event which many of you have been part of, I think. The Ukrainian Center has hosted the visit of the President of Lithuania, Gitanas Nausėda, and the First Lady of Lithuania, Diana Nausėdienė, and the President of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky. While the communities came in to mark the moment of unity, the 15 organizations and communities joined with their activities to greet the leaders of the two countries. As for visibility, after the training, a lot of our participants shared their experience on their social networks.
Okay. Our members express their experience for the trainings and group exercises. They have their feedback about the value and about the activities. You can see it. And I may with certainty say that it indicates the success and importance of the Community Development Accelerator project with supporting and developing civil society in the region and promoting intercultural exchange. Of course, work was not only one area of our experience on these trainings. We have a lot of fun. And we create a video from material sent by our participants to share the atmosphere and impressions.
I hope that the participants of the accelerator recognized themselves in this video. So what's next? If you are an institution or representative of an institution that aims to help civil society, here are the following steps: how you can support and promote joint activities, initiatives, and projects between Ukrainian and Lithuanian communities in Lithuania. You can, of course, create informational resources. Try to organize regular events like this one or any other. Help forming the partnerships. Support different initiatives, especially if you see people who are really striving to make the change, help them. Create a network of contacts. Interact with the public and make them feel seen and heard. And involve local resources. But if you're a representative of active civil society looking for deepening your knowledge, we would like to open the registration for training Community Development Accelerator 2.0. Make sure you apply before March 10. We thank you for your attention today, and we are really proud to present these results to you. Thank you. Have a wonderful rest of the day.
Дякую за увагу.
Thank you so much, Katerina and Ilya, for sharing your incredible work you do. And now, ladies and gentlemen, before we continue with our forum's second session, I would like to invite everyone for a delightful coffee break. It's a great opportunity to enjoy some refreshments together with informal discussions and exchange the contacts. So we'll see you at 12:30. Thank you. enjoyed the refreshments and the wonderful company. And to continue, the panel discussion for second session, From Struggle to Strength, the role of international cooperation in Ukrainian civil society. With a great pleasure, I would like to invite our first moderator, Nerijus Miginis, the co-founder and expert at the Institute for Policy Research and Analysis in Lithuania.
Thank you very much. My pleasure to be here today with you. But first of all, I have an interactive part of the conference to find out whom we have here in the room. So I will invite you for a Slido activity. So a short interactive presentation of who you are. For this, I will ask you to take your mobile phone devices and try to scan the QR code or enter slido.com, and then the key to enter is forum UAC. So please join. We will ask you 5 questions. We want to find out where you are from, who you are, for the speakers of the panel discussion to know who is the audience, who they are addressing. And then I will start with the first question. So what is your nationality? And the answer will be a word cloud. So the more same nationality is repeated, the bigger will be the word. Okay, so we have German, Norwegian, Lithuanian, Ukrainian, Latvian, Polish people, French people, Turkish people, okay, Czech people, okay. So Lithuanians are a dominant group, but I think Ukrainian should surpass, should be a bigger word. Already 46 people have answered. Estonian we have, okay. We even have a nationality which is called Proud Ukrainian. That's the best nationality, yes. Very good. Okay, 55 people have. Oh, we have Canadian. So yeah, really an international forum. So thank you very much for answering. Let's go now to the second question. So question for Ukrainian participants. Where are you coming from in Ukraine? So we want to find out the town, the city, the region in Ukraine. Kharkiv, Izium, Cherkasy, Kiev, Dnipro. Dnipro is dominant, Kiev is dominant now, Mariupol. Okay, 22 people have answered, 4 are still answering, very good. Thank you very much. And now let's switch to the next question. So the question is now for all. Where are you coming from in Lithuania or in Europe? So also town would be an appropriate answer. Vilnius. Okay, we have 11 people from Vilnius. Norway, Kaunas, Klaipėda, Oslo, Spain, Palanga, Panevėžys, Druskininkai, Liepaja, Klaipėda, Utena. Okay, quite a lot of you have answered already, 60 participants, few are still answering. Okay, so the next questions will be about the role in your community organization. So there are 6 possible answers in the question. So maybe you are a leader of your organization, maybe you are an active member of your organization, representative of institution or a funding body, a person searching for an organization that would suit your interests, and maybe you are thinking about establishing your own organization. So I take part in activities of various organizations. So we have active members and active participants of organizations. There are some leaders. We also have representatives of institutions. People are searching for the organization. Not so many people are thinking of establishing an organization. That's quite a big responsibility. Okay, and the last question. What is your motivation to take part in the forum? So to meet other community members is an option, find inspiration from examples and speakers, to network, share ideas with other participants, And represent institution organization that supports community initiatives. So people came here for inspiration, meet members, to network, and compare to have quite a lot of representative institutions and organizations. So thank you very much for answering to the Slido questions. So now you can put away your mobile phone, and I will invite the speakers of the first panel discussion from Struggle to Strength, the role of international cooperation in Ukrainian civil society. So I want to invite Professor Juozas Augutis on the stage, Yulia Ovchinnikova, co-chair of parliamentary group of the Verkhovnaya Rada of Ukraine for interparliamentary relationships with the Republic of Lithuania, Professor Robin van Voren, also lecturer Paul Sulberg from University of Southeast Norway, and Katerina Pidubnaya, Ukrainian youth leader based in Lithuania. So some of the speakers from the previous presentations will be on the stage. So we will invite you to share your insights about international cooperation, to give some ideas and some proposals. So first of all, I will ask you to take the microphones. We have a microphone for everyone. We will try to share the microphones. Okay, so, sorry, dear guests. So myself, for 20 years, I'm in the field of international cooperation, in the development of civic society organizations. So was doing some practical research and some methodology development. So when we talk about international cooperation and cooperation in general, very often you meet people from different organizations, you meet people from different cultures, and then you notice the differences. Maybe same words have a different meaning. Maybe the working culture is different, but then at the end, the added value always is when you have diverse people with diverse knowledge, diverse experience, you can develop things together, and you can create the added value. And one of the most noticed changes is when people are starting to cooperate, they start using the word we. We have managed, we have done, we have changed, instead of I. So let's talk what we can do to foster Ukrainian civil society. And my first question will be for the rector, Professor Juozas Augutis. What is the role of Ukrainian Center at Vytautas Magnus University in empowering Ukrainians to be part of the civic society and preserving their identity in Lithuania?
Thank you very much. I think that for the Ukrainian diaspora, there are two problems. One of them to keep identity of the Ukraine, of the country. Next one is to integrate to the Lithuanian society, and these both targets a little bit controversial, but anyway, Ukrainian Center, I think, is a good example and good place for resolving both problems. From one side, for keeping identity, it's necessary to make a place where can people be together, where can speak in mother language, where can I don't know, to do something what they did at home. It is possible to do here because many activities is presented in this center. From another side, center is very deep involved in the Lithuanian organizations and in presidential office and in university. This building is a part of the Vytautas Magnus Educational Academy. Here there are many teachers, many students, and good possibility for Ukrainians to communicate with Lithuanian people. And I think that Ukrainian Center is very, very good example, very, very good project for helping for Ukrainians to solve these problems.
Thank you very much, Professor. Ms. Yulia, what is the parliamentary perspective on supporting Ukrainian communities abroad? What are the priorities?
Thank you very much. Dear colleagues, really, I'm very happy to be here with you. We have really very problem logistics. We necessary 2 days in order to organize our trip. But I'm very happy because every time when I stay in Lithuania, I feel at home. It's really, I'm sure that all Ukrainians feel as well, because every time this incredible support gives us such a feeling for us. Of course, we every time in Spotlight for Ukrainians, and all parliamentarians have to support Ukrainian communities abroad. It's really one of the focus priorities for the parliamentary. We have tried to do the best to organize the meeting in every country. When we go to the interparliamentary group, or for example, for our diplomatic work, we try to organize this process. But to tell the truth, before my participation in this forum, I had the brief with the head of the Committee of Foreign Affairs, how to organize the second step in order to help our Ukrainian communities abroad, because to tell the truth, we haven't such as systematically work. Because after the full-scale invasion, we absolutely understand that it's very urgent and necessary to do this. We have one of the biggest such organization is the World Ukrainian Congress of Ukrainians. It's the big organization which give powerful support when start full-scale invasion, but we necessary to organize this step. One of these is to adopt a law in 2022, which organize the basic principle of state policy in the organize affirming the Ukrainian and civil identity. It's the guarantee to participation of Ukrainian communities in the this process to organize this Ukrainian and national strategies of Ukrainian identity. And this is a very important component of our national security. So, and I think that the next step, it will be to introduction or organizing the multiple citizenship. It's also the second very important step from Parliament as well, because in the January this year was registered the draft law on the multiple citizenship. As they say, our president of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, this is really possibilities to protect our right to be Ukrainians. It's our right to be Ukrainian. It's the right for fighting every of us to be Ukrainian in this country. And I think this is a very, very important step. And I'm sure, and after that, we really highly appreciated the comprehensive assistance of the President of Lithuania, Seimas, government of Lithuania, and whole Lithuanian people for this incredible support. But from our side, we'll continue to do the best in order to support our diasporas and Ukrainian people, because it's a part of a big Ukrainian family. Thank you.
Yeah, a part of big global Ukrainian family.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you very much. Professor Robert, why it is important to promote community activism amongst Ukrainians living abroad, and also what effect this process will have in the future for both Lithuania and Ukraine?
Well, I think there are several reasons why it's important. One is what we hope is that when the war is over, that the overwhelming majority of Ukrainians abroad will return to the country. So the years that they are spent abroad can be used as a school. You know, in life, every crisis is an opportunity. And so it's a failure not to make use of this opportunity, however bad the crisis is. And so I think educating, helping them educate themselves, form themselves, developing communities, understanding what community work is, will be an absolutely essential element in post-war life in Ukraine. I can give you one very concrete example. According to our figures, there are probably now about 100,000 Ukrainian military that will need long-term support after the war because of war trauma. they have families, they have communities. The communities will be absolutely essential to help them return to normal life and deal with what they experienced at front. So community work is really going to be a vital element. Second reason is, especially with the war lasting, the possibility of depression, anxiety, panic is just around the corner. And being active is one of the best elements in building up resilience and dealing with the fact that you're living outside your country without wanting to live outside the country, right? So being active is a extremely good way of dealing with your own mental health.
Thank you very much. Paul, I will invite you to reflect on the Norwegian state long-term international policy of integration and its best practices. Also in Lithuania, we see often Norway as a good example. So what would be your insights?
I think from a Norwegian perspective now, we have the three big immigrant groups in Norway. It's Polish, Ukrainian, and Lithuanian. So we had several waves of immigration. The first modern wave of immigration was in the 60s, and then a new wave of work immigration in 2007, 8, 9. So what we focus a lot on right now, we're learning the challenges of the children and youngsters of immigrants. So born in Norway, raised in Norway, dealing with this kind of dual cultural identity. And also how can we support in the long term the cultural identity, the cultural heritage? How can organizations in Norway support, for instance, with Lithuania, I work a lot with Lithuanian communities in Norway. We have built Lithuanian schools. We have several events during the year where they can learn about Lithuanian culture. But youngsters are dealing with this, it's complex to deal with these deep cultural things. They have a culture at home, they have a different culture at school. So I think that's something we are preparing for now. Is kind of the next challenge would be the children and youngsters that we're working with. Immigration, other than that, it's, of course, people coming from Ukraine need support. And they also now need support to support their home country. So at the moment, it's more about the situation we have. But I think we are trying to deal with it in the long term and seeing what kind of support will be needed in some years. And we know also that many will return, but many will also stay. So we need to cater for the needs in the long term, I think.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much, Paul. Katerina, how did you become an active member of the Ukrainian community in Lithuania? And it would be interesting to hear your personal experience and the challenges you have faced.
Thank you, Nereus, for the question. First of all, I'm really honored to be invited to speak and share my opinion here today. I think that we live in a very hard time where being inactive or doing nothing is simply no. You cannot allow yourself to do that while a war is happening back home. So for me, being active in civic engagement is first of all a way of dealing with my mental health stability. And as we all know from flights, if we took some planes before in our lives, you put the mask on yourself first in order to be the help and the resource and the voice of those who cannot do it on their own and to support other people. But also, wherever I go and whatever I do, I'm always the representative of my country. I am the diplomat of change with whatever I do or whatever I say. And this is something that is important to me. And it makes me also do the things that I do today. And I hope that they are important and they are helping my country in winning this war.
Thank you very much for sharing. Today, I have talked with one of the organizers about remembering exactly what you have done 2 years ago on the day when the war was started. So it was quite an impressive day for us. And then also today, it's a day to reflect what we have done during those 2 years to support the cause, to support Ukraine. So what were the most meaningful things which we have done? So it's great to hear these nice examples. So Kate, what would be the most meaningful thing you have done?
Well, actually, on the literally third day after I arrived here to Lithuania, I was asked to interpret at one channel the newscast. So I was interpreting live the news, basically. That was one of the things. We were also producing a newscast for people who spoke, who didn't speak Lithuanian, for them to learn a little bit more about challenges that my country is facing. There were other things, like, for example, I got to participate in a variety of different activities at the Ukrainian Center, volunteering here or being part as organizer or just helping out however I could. And of course, the latest one is participation in the Community Development Accelerator, which was not only very insightful and interesting, but also very fun. And thank you for that as well. Those are some of the things.
Thank you very much. Miss Yulia, what challenges Ukrainian communities are facing across in the other countries, and what support Ukrainian state and other stakeholders should provide? What is the most important support?
Thank you for your question. First of all, to tell the truth, necessary to think about challenges for personally displaced persons or challenges for Ukrainian communities abroad. I'm, for example, also internal displaced person. I was born in Donbass. I'm from Donetsk. And 9 years ago, and we have the war 10 years. It's not 2 years, only full-scale invasion, but our country 10 years in real war. We relocated university from Donbass, from Donetsk to Vinnytsia, and we have the huge cooperation between Vasil Stus Donetsk National University and Vytautas Magnus University. And I thank you very much, Rector, for this close cooperation. I think, thank you very much also the Dean of the Faculty Natural Science, Saulis, for fruitful cooperation with the natural science students who have continued work. But to tell the truth, really, we have a lot of challenges. One of these, as I say, Katerina, it's mental health. It's really, as you know, our First Lady created the big national program, How Are You? It's in order to support people which have the mental problem. It's also very good every time to help each of us. And Lithuania have maybe one of the best example in the support and our displaced persons, temporary displaced person, and Ukrainian communities as well, because one of the maybe unique center which give to protect and to preserve our Ukrainian identity is the Ukrainian culture. And now we are here. So the next, maybe one of the best examples, it's international Ukrainian schools in Lithuania. I think it's really best examples for other European countries. And I think it's necessary to exchange this as best practices, because it gives big possibilities to integrate and to have the adaptation, normal adaptation of our people here, I'm sure. And also, non-governmental organization, Lithuania, all Lithuanian people have the unique support, really. And maybe Ukrainians in our parliament as well, we must, frankly speaking, say that this is really the best support which we have. It's not depend from election. It's really principle, really support for us. And also about some of the challenges, which maybe have some of languages problem, but in Lithuania you have all possibilities. Create Ukrainian classes in the schools. We have a lot of possibilities, mass media, website on Ukrainian languages, radio, TV, a lot of possibilities. But in other country, it's really, I think that's necessary to continue have the open and frankly dialogue between the government of countries, other countries, which to more understand the situation with Ukrainian communities abroad. But I am sure that we have this powerful politics of our president and our diplomatic corpus to continue this cooperation with this country, which have some difficulties now. But, and after all, thank you, Lithuania, for best leadership and example for other European countries. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Professor Juozas, what is the vision of the Ukraine Center, how you will continue helping, and maybe what is the vision of the university, how you will continue working with Ukrainian communities?
Thank you. I think that universities in general can make a good influence to the helping for Ukraine. First of all, because in the university there are many experts in different fields. It's expert of history. Now is very important, by the way, for historians to explain history of Middle Ages after stupid interview of Putin by TV. It's necessary to explain, not only for Ukrainians, for Lithuanians, for different countries. Another one, universities organization very international, and this experience is important for helping Ukraine. Maybe some examples of other university, Vytautas Magnus University. We are a member of so-called European alliances universities. It's 10 universities work together in Europe, in European space, but we suggested for our alliance to involve like associated member Mariupol State University, and it was done. Our Mariupol University is an associated member of this European alliances. It's open doors for this university, for teachers, for students to go to 10 universities from different European countries. Another one, we established another university in Kaunas, Center of Mariupol State University, to help for them to, I don't know, to collect students which came to Europe. We think about possibility to make income of new students to Mariupol University for students who will be graduate in secondary schools in Lithuania, and they will come to Mariupol University via Vytautas Magnus University and to live here in Lithuania and to study in Mariupol University. Universities, I am sure that can do more than they did now. And especially Vytautas Magnus University, we are ready. Thank you for achievement of our university, but we can do more.
And what can the Ukraine Center do more? What is your vision?
I think that Ukrainian Center now is how to say, it's a culture institute of Ukraine, but now it's unusual time, is war, and now we work together. But later, after Peremoga, I think that the center will become like a culture center, like I don't know, French Culture Institute or Polish Culture Institute, and will be like a gate for Ukrainian culture to go to Lithuania. Now we work together, we organize conferences for peace was presented here in the list of activities of the center. We took questions from the peace formula of Zelensky and organized by topics conferences. One of them was to the justice and energy security. Next was made for higher education problems. Will be prolonged in another. But anyway, I think that it's not through mission of this center. It's temporarily because it's this time after freedom of Ukraine, after victory, the center will be like a culture center of Ukraine. I hope.
Thank you very much for your answer. Professor Robert, what should be done fostering resilience and community leadership in Ukrainian communities?
I think one of the positive sides of the COVID pandemic has been that we learned that people themselves can do a lot to safeguard their mental health, to help themselves in times of extreme stress, and that only a limited percentage of people actually need professional help. So I think the program that Olena Zelenska is developing is very important to understand that your mental health is your own issue. I mean, we go to a sports club to keep ourselves physically going. You need actually to have a kind of sports club to keep your mental health going. So one of the things that we did the day after the invasion started is we had a online psychological aid program, Samopomoch, which was Russian language for the Belarusian human rights activist. The whole program is now in Ukrainian. We are launching an app on smartphones so that people can take care of their own mental health and understand how they can help themselves. This is simple, working on trauma after the trauma takes a lot of effort, but there is a lot you can do to make sure that the traumatic events that you live through do not have this lasting effect. So I think resilience building and understanding what you can do yourself is one of the main elements of NGO work, of personal work for a future Ukraine. Because with the disaster that has happened to that country, you understand that this is a problem that will be generational. It's not only this generation. This will pass on. And so the more we can do now, the better it is later.
Thank you very much. Paul, you were telling about supporting Lithuanian organizations in Norway, so it would be interesting what kind of structures do they develop, what kind of support do they have, and how the organizations are organizing in Norway. Maybe it could be a good example for Ukrainian organizations here in Lithuania.
Yeah, so what's interesting for me is I'm trying to think back to when we were establishing for instance, Lithuanian associations, and the needs have changed over the years. So in the start, there was a lot of work on just understanding the legal framework of establishing an NGO, of funding an NGO within the Norwegian system. So for us now, we have worked with the Lithuanian diaspora community for 10 years already. We are now much deeper into kind of dialogues about culture, also understanding that it's not only to take care of your own cultural identity, but also for Norwegians to understand that this is now part of our shared cultural identity. 20% of Norwegians are immigrants, 1 out of 5. It is our shared identity. So I think we are now rolling back and looking to what kind of support was needed 10 years ago, and now trying to give the same support to Ukrainian organizations, which in the start is basically just to kind of figure out how do you establish, how do you fund, how do you get it started in a safe and good way. And that's where I think we need to put our effort now, and we are starting slowly to put our efforts. First, refugees from Ukraine and Norway, they have like a 1-year introduction program. So they are now being placed into the local communities. So we are now seeing the need to give that support. And I think we just need to roll back kind of our work with other communities and see what kind of needs they had in the beginning. I think that's a strength now, also working with Lithuanian communities, asking them what kind of support did you need in the start? How could we support you better in the start? So now actually also the Lithuanian community in Norway is helping us support Ukrainian communities. So that's very interesting.
Mm-hmm. You also have these participation structures like in the social system in the NAV, which are engaging their users. Could you tell a bit more about that?
Yeah, so this is the importance, I think, of actually having sustainable structures like organizations, because I work a lot with the Norwegian welfare system, the NAV system, and they have like user committees in every municipality to see how can we better support people of need in our municipality. And they are looking for now for Ukrainian participants, but they don't really know where to look. So they are now asking us, because we're doing about, I think we have done 30 or 40 projects with Lithuanian-Norwegian cooperation over the years. Lithuanians are well represented in the system, but we now need to find, but we need a place to look also. So they are asking now Norwegian organizations to see if they can support with bringing the voice of Ukrainians into the bigger, larger structures. But they would need those local grassroots organizations to recruit from, to also be able to better voice the needs of Ukrainians in Norway now. So I think like building a strong grassroots community is my focus, and I think it will be the focus over the next year also with the Ukrainian community in Norway.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much, Paul. Katerina, we were part together in the Leaders Accelerator program. So thinking about future of Ukrainian communities in Lithuania, how these kind of programs support the young leaders, the future leaders? What competences do you get?
So first of all, it was the Community Development Accelerator was a wonderful boot camp for building the necessary skills in order, first of all, to understand, find the tools to understand one another and to find the issues that are building up in both communities, not only in Ukrainian issues, but we can find ourselves having the similarities in that, and we see that we have the strong desire to solve them together. But also, it was a wonderful platform to learn about. For example, I didn't know that there is a Ukrainian center or like a Ukrainian organization in Visaginas or in other cities. So it was wonderful to learn about that and to try to make new events and start initiatives together, but also exchange our cultural background. It's always wonderful to share your cultural heritage with other people, but also learn, okay, what Lithuania has to offer, or like, can I learn Lithuanian language, and how do I say hello, or how do I say this or that? So I think it's a beginning of a dialogue between the two countries, and a way to put our common efforts into solving the issues that each of the countries have.
For me, one of the funny stories from the event was we had 2 training courses. When we organized the first one, probably people arrived with 15 cars. When they organized the second one, people arrived only with 5 cars. So it has also an ecological impact. People started to cooperate and then joining for the event. So yeah, you get these added values. It's very important to create arenas for people to meet, for discuss, to share experience. And also one of the insights was that people were saying, it's nice to see that there are other people active like you in different parts of Lithuania, or even coming from the same parts of Ukraine as you are coming.
If I may add, it's indeed very motivating when you're starting to do something to see that other people are also in it, then it gets you going even more. So.
Thank you very much. So the final question for everyone. So I will invite every one of you for your closing remarks of our discussion. So participation of people in structures and organizations is decreasing globally. There are less people joining associations, less people joining political parties. How would you motivate our participants of the forum to be more active and engaged in community organizations? So Professor Juozas, let's start maybe from you.
Maybe, because we are together here in this forum, we are all motivated to be together to work for Ukraine. And if serious, I think that main motivating factor for us work to do more than we can is danger of Russia, danger for Ukraine, for Lithuania, and this must to motivate us to work all things. Of course, in the organization we can do more than allow than separate everyone. And I think this factor is enough for motivation who understand to be very, very active in this time and what we do. And in this occasion, I would like to thank everyone who came here to this forum and present. Thank you very much and good luck.
Thank you for the university for hosting such an amazing forum. Miss Yulia, what would be your insights?
Today a lot of things, but first of all, I think before my politician work, I was the head of YouR's organization in Donbass. We organized the Day of Europe in Donetsk. It's very difficult to say, but it's very challenging for us. And for us, the number one motivation for all our young people, and we have the information that 73% of young people support our European integration. For us, in this stage was our European integration. But to tell the truth, I am sure that motivation for all non-governmental organizations, for all people, number one, it's victory. And every of us in all fronts must do all the best in order we definitely win in this dangerous war. And motivation number one, I think it's not for Ukraine and Lithuania, because we have the same values, but for all Europe, for all world, it's the victory of Ukraine. And we do all the best every minute in order our dream come true. Thank you.
Professor Robert?
You know, I think what you see happening now is something that we could have, known in advance. As you probably know, we set up this special Ukrainian crisis center at the Vilnius Mental Health Center here at Vassara Street. And we see that the number of clients coming is increasing quite rapidly, especially young people. After 2 years of war and without any idea when this is ever going to end, the real effects are now starting to appear. People are depressed, they're frustrated, they have no idea what choice in life. Are they going to build up a life here? Are they going back in spite of the danger? So that the number of people going down, being active, is a very logical development. But at the same time, I think for them, being active in an NGO, in a community organization, is survival. It's first of all, it helps your mind, and secondly, it's fun. I was mentioning that humor is important, a very important tool in building up resilience. It's fun to be active and to be doing things with other people. One of the problems that I see, it's all very positive, but one of the problems that I still see very much in Ukraine is that a lot of NGOs, a lot of organizations, also governmental organizations, have this very kind of, I think it's a part of a kind of post-Soviet issue, this defending your own little shop. I want to know from you who your donor is and with whom you're working, but I'm not going to tell you because you will go after my donor, right? So it's all little islands. But the problem that the country is facing is so huge that unless we all start working together and share, we will never be able to make it. It's very simple. We have to work together because this is the only, survival of the country. And I think it's a fantastic way of overcoming this horrible 75 years of Sovietism.
Thank you. Paul?
It's a good question, and I think in this kind of age of individualism that we have been living through for a while, there are, as you say, there is like resilience in community, there is culture in community, there is strength in numbers. So if you want to make change, make impact, you have to do it with others. I know for myself, I would not be able to do 10% of what I'm doing without the communities I work with, without the partners I have, without the people I work with. And understanding that it takes a village to raise a child. We have to do this together. And being part of it I think it's very important for mental health. I think it's very, very important for identity. I think it's very important for being able to be the change you want to see in the world. And I think togetherness it's key to that.
Thank you. Katerina?
And to reiterate what Paul has mentioned, and of course for the young leaders, information is following. I would like to again invite you to the Accelerator Development Training 2.0, deadline by March 10. Please apply. So yeah, as if you want to see the change in the world, you have to start from yourself. You have to learn the necessary skills and build yourself brick by brick, and then help your country to do that as well. Because our country needs it. Our country needs us, strong and looking ahead into the bright future. And I hope that we can manage to do that together. So I hope that that would be enough of a motivation for the young people.
Yeah. Thank you very much. So my final remarks after discussion would be that in Norway, the main policy when we look at civic society is the public health policy. And then public health is always understood that the main thing is to assure people's participation and engagement. So the more you engage, the more you participate, probably the better will be your health situation. So participation, active participation is very essential. It was really great to hear about the ideas of the speakers. We had a lot of attention to mental health. We heard the idea of global Ukraine, which is also a nice approach, keeping the identity and assuring that people are feeling Ukrainian. And I want to invite the listeners of our discussion to think, what can you do personally to contribute to the victory of Ukraine? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Nerio. Thank you so much to all speakers, professors. And the next panel discussion, Leadership for Tomorrow, Perspectives for Ukraine's Post-War Revival through Empowering Ukrainian Civil Society. So with the great pleasure, I would like to invite the following moderator, Vilma Beekene, the Vice Rector of Vytauto Magnus University.
Thank you, Svetlana, and hello again. It was a wonderful panel, a very inspiring one, and it ended with this very important note of being together and really collecting, mustering all the strength that we can for the future. And now we are turning to another panel, Leadership for Tomorrow, Perspectives for Ukraine's Post-War Revival through Empowering Ukrainian Civil Society. And this will be a hybrid panel, and I would like to ask if we are going to have our speaker present online. So maybe in the meantime, I will ask those who will be physically participating to step up on the stage. So we have the director of the British Council Lithuania, Anna Vishniauskaitė. Could you please join? Let's welcome the speakers. I would also like to ask Laura Lapinskė from Vytautas Magnus University, a researcher in sociology and also the coordinator of the Ukrainian Hub in Kaunas. I would like us to welcome Katerina Gorinova, who represents Mariupol State University and also Vytautas Magnus University, being the head of Mariupol University at our university here in Kaunas. And I would also like to invite Denise Ganza, the head of Public Diplomacy Platform, also the co-chair of the Youth Council under MFA Ukraine and member of the Youth Affairs Council under the President of Ukraine. And I would like to extend our warmest welcome to the Deputy Minister of Social Policy of Ukraine for European Integration, Irina Postolovskaya, who is present with us online. Madam Deputy Minister, we're very happy to welcome you at our discussion, and would like to ask you to open it with your welcoming statement for us. So the screen is yours.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon. It is an absolute honor to join you today. Unfortunately, I am not able to attend in person, but I thank you for the opportunity to connect online and share a few opening remarks. My life and the lives of every Ukrainian will forever be split into before and after February 24th, 2022. Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine has taken a devastating toll on human lives and human capital. We continue to live under uncertainty, under constant Russian attacks on civilians. Yet in these dark times, we have also made enduring friendships and strengthened existing partnerships. Ukrainians are brave and resilient because we know that we are fighting for freedom, for our sovereignty, for our national identity, and for European democratic values and human rights. Thanks to our armed forces, all first-line responders, medical staff, social workers, volunteers, civil society organizations, and everyone in the community, we continue for our fight for freedom. But we would not have been able to withstand the last 2 years without the outpouring support from the global community. You have opened your borders, homes, and hearts to our citizens. You have provided military, financial, humanitarian, and technical assistance. We are grateful to the people and to the government of Lithuania for standing with us during these difficult times. It is symbolic that more than 10 years ago, in November 2013, Ukrainians went out to the streets ahead of the Vilnius summit to demonstrate our decision for a European path. This path has only solidified 10 years later, and we are already in the process of the negotiations with the European Union. We thank you for continuing to raise awareness, to ensure that Ukraine is not forgotten, to continue to provide our support to Ukraine. Only together will we be able to defeat our common enemy and defend the European values.
Does it work? Does it work? Okay, it does. Thank you, dear Madam Deputy Minister, for your opening of this panel. And I think that we are absolutely lucky in this forum and in all the conferences that we had at the Ukrainian Center, that we have a good synergy of policymakers participating in the conferences, academics, and representatives of the public. So this all gives us a very versatile perspective in our discussions. So my first question would be to you, Deputy Minister, on the issues you started talking about. The path lying ahead for Ukraine is the Euro integration path. It's absolutely challenging given the war, the horrible war going around, and it's also very complex. Your field is social policy. So could you tell us the most important steps that you are currently taking in this Euro integration process with regard to social policy? And also how we here in Lithuania could be helpful in I don't know, maybe very practical matters, in all matters, for you in this very important role of streamlining the social policy?
Thank you for the question. And perhaps I'll highlight a few initiatives that the Ministry of Social Policy is currently implementing. We are in the process of transitioning from a historical focus on cash assistance to a more targeted cash assistance program with stimuli for individuals to return to the labor force, complemented with a strong care component. For us, it is our responsibility to invest in human capital of Ukraine, to restore that human capital capacity, and to create conditions for individuals to live and return to Ukraine when it is safe to do so by developing the social support systems. Our goal is to support individuals at different life stages, to enable them to actively participate in the labor force, or to provide decent support and living conditions and opportunities for social integration for individuals requiring care. We pay special attention to effective social support system for families. And here we focus as part of the European integration process on ensuring that every child grows up in a family, to deinstitutionalize our care for children, and to ensure that we promote adoption, promote foster families, to also focus on family support services to prevent children from and parents from relinquishing their parental responsibilities and rights. To address the increasing poverty rates, we continue to provide support to those most in need to meet their basic needs and reformatting the state social assistance programs for low-income citizens to ensure financial protection. We also have a very strong component on inclusion of individuals with disabilities into socioeconomic activities to provide the full scope of support from early rehabilitation, working closely with the Ministry of Health to ensure that individuals, particularly as a result of Russia's full-scale invasion, the number of individuals with disabilities, unfortunately, is increasing. But we work closely together with key partners to ensure that individuals have rehabilitation services at the outset, provide effective prosthetics and other assistive devices for rehabilitation, but also follow up and to provide the necessary social support for individuals with disabilities to find employment, to adapt the workplaces, to ensure that employers have the opportunities to employ individuals with disabilities, and to really build the cohesion and strengthen the social integration of all members of society. At the same time, the Russian Federation's full-scale invasion has taken an immense toll on mental health, and all key ministries within the government, as part of the All-Ukrainian Mental Health Program initiated by the First Lady of Ukraine, are working on flagship projects to ensure that individuals have mental health services at different situations and life stages. We, as the Ministry of Social Policy, are introducing a new service and have already introduced this new resilience service to provide psychosocial support at the community level, to provide a space where individuals would have the necessary type of support, either through group or individual counseling, to provide parents and families with necessary type of support, but also to strengthen the volunteer communities at the Hromada level, at the community level, and provide that level of coordination with government activities, with volunteer activities, to really build the social resilience and cohesion of communities. We also, of course, are focusing a lot on providing new services for veterans and their families. We have introduced and designed social adaptation services for veterans and their families to support their return to civilian life through the delivery of a week-long social rehabilitation course and provision of social adaptation services in the community. And we are already piloting this approach, and we hope to scale it up nationwide. I think for us, perhaps before I close, I'd like to strengthen and to focus on the key principles under which we operate. For us, it is important and paramount that we focus on human capital recovery. We address the endemic issues that have plagued Ukraine and the policies in the social sphere, and address the existing challenges that we face as a result of Russia's full-scale invasion, in order to build an inclusive society in which every member has the necessary support to return to the labor market, if possible, to ensure that they can actively participate in socioeconomic activities, and to really build and strengthen the resilience of the communities. And we thank Lithuania, and we work very closely with the government of Lithuania, with the Ministry of Social Affairs and Labor of Lithuania, to share the experiences, to share how Lithuania has been able to introduce changes in the sphere of social policy, whether it's deinstitutionalization or having a different approach in terms of how we approach individuals with disabilities and disability classification itself. And these are areas in which we are actively working on, and certainly with the support of the civil society, both in terms of in Ukraine and in Lithuania, we can strengthen those links. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for sharing all the insights and actually showing us all the incredible work that you are doing. Deputy Minister mentioned that one of the paramount issues is to regain human capital and to build on human capital and to build on resilience through that. So, Denise, I would like to address to you as a representative of an organization dealing with youth affairs. So, what in your point of view, how do you see the situation? What is necessary for the young generation, for the youth of Ukraine? Now, what assistance is necessary, and what you are doing as the organization?
First of all, I would like to say that it's my first time in Vilnius, and I'm really shocked how you people are supporting Ukraine. You are wonderful. I'm really thankful for what you're doing here, and I wish every country in Europe is the same like this. So you are wonderful. Let's set the scene. I remember the name of the panel. It's mentioning post-war future words. Let's be blunt on this. There is no post-war. There is no post-future. We must face the reality that it already has been 2 years since Russia has fully invaded Ukraine, 10 years since Russia started the war in Ukraine, 300 years since Russia is doing really bad things to the whole Ukrainian nation. And back in the beginning of the 20th century, we had more Ukrainians than Russians. And Holodomor, World War II, World War I, Chernobyl, the Soviet occupation. And what's next? Okay, you're saying post-war. I think the youth of Ukraine is finally, and the youth of Europe, we need to find this key understanding that post-war will not come. It will only come when all of us in this room and in many rooms, in many parliaments, in many cabinets understand that Russia is an eternal threat. This threat is so eternal that not even Navalny or some kind of Russian opposition liberal can change it. There is no opposition in Russia. Stop believing in this. We must put our big aim to make sure that there is no Russia as an existential threat. That means that Russia doesn't have an army to occupy any country, that Russia doesn't have the nukes to send them whoever they want to, and most importantly, to bring all the Russians who are responsible for this war to justice. And that only after this the war will end. I don't think we will cope with this in 1 or 2 years. I think it's the task at least for all of my life. Speaking of youth of Ukraine, what we are doing right now, so in 2021, Ukraine adopted the National Youth Strategy 2030, and it adopted its first law on youth policy. The big problem we are facing is that when all these documents were written, we had at least 3 million people aged 25, 29. By 2030, it's projected that we will have only 1 million of those people of this age left. We have 1 million school children who want to leave Ukraine, who has such a will. I don't expect that all the Ukrainians are ready to come back right now, but we really need you guys. It's time to take a final decision and come back to the country, because we need you. We are running out of people, not only in the army, we don't have enough people to fulfill all government positions, to fulfill the positions in the NGOs, in the universities. We need people actually coming back home right now and right today. There is no time to wait until future will come. We don't know when it will be. And of course, we need to be really, bold on what we are deciding on the future strategy. We must decide all together, okay, what the victory means. Is it just the end of the fight? No. Is it just making sure that all the people in Russia come to responsibility? No. What the loss mean? We don't even have this discussion. We need to understand that right now we are actually closer to losing, all of us, than winning. And it's really good that we are here. We have the time to make a reflection, but we don't have time to prepare for future leadership. We need leaders of today to make sure that they're coming. And that's why I will be really happy to you guys for your knowledge transferring, because you have a great system of youth policy in Lithuania. I know that you have a great national youth agency, that you're actually having great groups of people who are preparing people for the army. I don't remember the name, it's about strikers communities. Yes, and we've researched on it. And I hope that we really start not talking about future, but try to do more and more right now, and especially when we speak about the investment in youth policy, to make sure that it's all around Ukraine's policy, because for instance, we will have 3 million veterans after this war, approximately. It's according to the new Ukrainian Veterans Fund standard. 30% of them will be less than 30 years aged. So this will be young people, young veterans. What we do to them? Which policies do we have in Ukraine for them? How we make sure that Ukrainian young families have enough means to sustain their life, to apply for a normal job. That's what we need, because we need to finally understand that we need a super strong Ukraine. It's the only key to the security in the whole region. Unfortunately, Polish strikers on the border don't understand this. And many people in Europe don't understand this. I was in Brussels 2 days ago. Many people in the European Parliament don't understand this. That right now we must focus all our attention on making sure Ukraine doesn't lose this war, because if they occupy Ukraine, it means that they will get the people from new occupied territories to join their army and fight the war against you. This is what is happening right now in Kherson and Zaporizhia oblasts. They're actually using youth policy really well to mobilize young people to fight against Ukrainian army. So if we don't make this investment right now, and the biggest investment is, of course, weapons. Start making FPV drones in Lithuania. I think you will be capable to do it. Send them to Ukraine. I think even Ukrainian center can be used for this. Start preparing yourselves for the security issues which may rise, because you surely need to know how to use a medical tourniquet, how to hide yourself in the shelter, because this can be a new reality. And most importantly, of course, if you don't want to prepare for the real war, invest in Ukraine's war. That's the most internal thing. And thank you one more time. You're great people.
Thank you. Thank you, Denis, for very practical and insightful input in our panel. And I think we'll still come to that definition of what is a leader today and what do you understand by leadership today. But before that, I would like to turn to representatives of academia. And here with us we have Katerina, who, like I mentioned before, represents Mariupol State University as well as Vytautas Marius University, right? You know that we have a very close cooperation. And so I would like to ask Katerina, your intake and your vision from the perspective of colleagues of Mariupol State University. what are your visions about leadership in the future, about the civil engagement skills that the young leaders in Ukraine need, and what is the university doing in that regard?
Thank you so much, Wilma, for invitation, for this question. And I want to make some remark to the great speech of the First Lady of Ukraine, Olena Zelenska. She mentions that Lithuania was not that country who asked why we need to help, and they just quite sure from the first seconds that we are friends and we will together till the end. And such as great quote from Professor Robert Van Warren's speech that the same way Vytautas Magnus University decided to be part of solution, and was the first university who told us that we are together. For today we can do this, and tomorrow we will discuss the next steps. And as Rector Professor Josas Augutis told that a lot of steps, real practical steps of support have been done. Mariupol State University, from the first days of its foundation in 1991, always was a leader of not only of education in a region, but a leader of community transformation. And since our relocation in April 2022, after our city was completely damaged and all team of Mariupol University lost everything, we started from the scratch, but started in the heart of our country, our state, and the first that was done, we had to rethink and to develop our strategy, because to be just a higher educational institute, it's not enough, never enough. And now our vision is to be the leader of community transformation, ambassador of Mariupol, the voice of Mariupol in Ukraine and all over the world. And of course, to be a true civic university, we need to study all real needs of communities. So we are in close cooperation with stakeholders, with community, and we became a center of not only for Mariupol community, but for Ukrainian community. And from the first days of our activities in Kyiv, the Mariupol University team established a humanitarian hub, and a great support was provided. But now we also in a way of rethinking that, and it's also not enough, that we need to implement this community studies, this public studies in our curriculum, in all our activities, and to be in this close cooperation. And of course, this absolutely unique experience, which was initiated by Vytautas Magnus University to establish a center of Mariupol State University based on Vytautas Magnus University, with the goal to unite Mariupol, the Ukrainian community, also that bridge that the previous speaker told that we need to keep this balance between to be with our identity and to integrate to new community, and of course to encourage our young people, our students to come back to Ukraine. So it's absolutely practical tools that we use every day, and that picture that you saw in the end of your presentation, it was made yesterday, and to see the shining eyes of Ukrainian youth. They are full of initiatives. Of course, a lot of sadness, a lot of trauma and individual experience in these eyes also. But they are quite sure that university will support their initiatives. They feel absolutely safety and so appreciate that they can be here and be a part of community. Thank you.
Thank you, Katerina. And maybe I can just give a follow-up question, actually, an encouragement. Would you like to share actually the current initiative that Mariupol University Center at the VMU has? And actually we have the hub of this initiative in our lobby here in these premises. So can you shortly tell about that initiative?
Yeah, it was a great pleasure. Thank you so much. Also with the support of Vytautas Magnus University community, we initiated such a quite simple, quite small step, but also so important. A lot of my colleagues from Mariupol University involved in volunteering activities from the first seconds of February 2024, and as Yulia told previously, I'm also twice internally displaced person. I'm originally from Donetsk, so for us it started 2014. And in university we have such quite a strong scientific school of research of how to deal with displaced person. I would like to use this temporary displaced person. And of course this volunteering activity, so we decided to collect very important items for our defenders and to send to the front line. We have this strong connection. It would be this help from hands to hands for our guys. Only a few days ago they were, thanks God, relocated from Avdiivka. It's a real hell now, and now they are in the eastern front. They defend all our values and got to be for freedom. So yeah, we collected a lot of important items, and of course our defenders, they are made from steel, but they are also so glad to receive some warm regards, some warm words and letters on postcards, and we provided a workshop of creative writing and to engage the pupils from school and students to write, to share some warm words to Ukrainian defendants. And here you can also join our initiative. We have postcards, so please feel free to put some of your regards for defenders. Thank you.
Absolutely. The postcards are there in the lobby, and you can even draw a heart. I mean, everything matters. And in our initiatives, we have very important supporters, the cultural institutes. And here with us, we have Ona, the head of the British Council Lithuania department, and I know that the British Council has numerous initiatives for civic engagement, for developing the community leadership skills. Your project, People to People, which is widely known in Lithuania, and other initiatives. So would you like to share about what the British Council is now doing to support the leadership skill development?
Thank you, Vilma, and thank you for inviting me to participate and talk in this important, though bittersweet event today. British Council is the United Kingdom's cultural relations organization, and we work through art, culture, education, and English language to bring people in different nations together and to have common activities through which we can spread and exchange values, ideas. Culture is the cornerstone of what we do, and cornerstone, I mean, culture is also the one that is attacked in the war. It's not just about territory, it's also about identity. At the British Council, we believe that Ukrainian culture has to be as much defended as its territory and borders and its people. And culture there will be the key in rethinking about Ukraine's future, in rethinking or approaching how all this physical destruction that appears in the country, and also presenting itself, Ukraine presenting itself to the international community. Culture is the key there. I mean, the exhibition in the hall today about the unawarded diplomas and certificates can tell us much more about the destruction of war than I could say in 1,000 words or charts and diagrams and statistics. Just recently, the recipient of the Best Documentary Award and BAFTA, British Film Academy Awards and British Film Critic Awards, Mislav Cherkov said that Chernov said that he believes in the power of visionary arts, so the performative arts, the film industry, that this can change how people think, how people value others and value the history. I think that what we do at the British Council is now important as never before, and what Ukrainian programs that we have at the British Council are as important as never before. We have worked in Ukraine before the war. We are functioning, working there actively now, and will be in the future. Now, we do understand that although culture is important, but often it is not as powerful in terms of destruction as a weapon on others as it is the physical weaponry that countries have. On the other side, it's more difficult to destruct and to destroy culture than it is to destruct buildings and streets and infrastructure. So although a lot of resource now in Ukraine understandably goes to the physical defense, we invest in the cultural defense and defense of the culture. We provide grants for Ukrainian artists and those who want to create. We bring British expertise for higher education sectors, bridging Ukrainian higher education leaders and directors of institutes with British counterparts so that they can exchange the practices, teach and learn about online content delivery. We also think that the future of international relations of Ukraine will be delivered in English language. I think we all agree it's not Russian. So the English language competence has to be strengthened within the country. It has to be strengthened in terms of its training, of its curriculum, of teacher preparedness, of textbooks, and there's a vast field here where the British Council is providing expertise, mobility, exchange, so that those that are responsible in Ukraine for English language training would receive the best possible training themselves that they can deliver later to Ukrainians. We also organize English language training. We have assessment exams, which we try to make even more accessible to local Ukrainians. We also have English language clubs. English is the cornerstone of what we do at the organization and has of utmost importance now in Ukraine as well. Now, the competence training, of course, when we think about Ukraine, as Denis said, it's not about post-war, or not only about post-war, but it is what we are building there right now. And the competence that we strengthen now will very much be needed in the post-war country rebuilding. We have to use this period, strengthen our efforts to provide workshops and providing training on social entrepreneurship, on critical thinking, leadership, community building. The accelerator you've heard of today is also one of our initiatives with other unique members. So this is important to use this period, which is mobilizing, unfortunately, but it is mobilizing, and offer people the platforms where they can learn something that's needed for the country. Because people have this, and we very much feel so, people have this urge to do something, but often the question is where? What can I do? I'm alone. So to give this platform, to connect people, to have them networking, and to support them in delivering something for their own country, I think is very, very much important. We also changed our way of operation. We have now mobile programs, for example, mobile young people pop-up club, where we bring activities to communities directly. 1 day, 2 days, we stay there, and then we change location, because the war often creates a situation where you cannot deliver content in stable physical places. So we very much have to adapt. And of course, don't forget that it's global Ukraine, so people are here as well. And at the British Council Lithuania, we have programs to support the community here, so that they could strengthen and contribute to rebuilding Ukraine or its defense even today. We have young children summer camps, we have language classes, we have the young people discussion clubs, which again bring the community together and have them exchange different views or attitudes, positions, opinions with each other. That's just a bit of what we currently do.
Thank you, Anna, and thank you for really being such a very valuable and true partner. And I see that we will have a lot what we can do in the future together, and working toward the same goal. And along the same lines, let me ask Laura to bring us back to the Ukrainian Center and the Ukrainian Center Hub in Kaunas. Our Vytautas Majus University community, the staff, the professorship, actually engage more and more in the activities. And so could you enlarge a bit more on what we're planning for the future in Kaunas, in Vilnius, all over Lithuania? So the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Vilma. And I really want to thank the organizers for making this opportunity for us to meet, to hear from other people who do similar things, actually, to engage in this civil action and active participation. Because it's really inspiring to see what other people and other communities are doing. It's inspiring for our little hub in Kaunas, in Vytautas Magnus University, in a bigger hub, in British Council. I think just to see how people actively engage and help each other. So one of the keywords today was this collaboration and acting together. And I think this needs to be stressed once again if I talk about Vytautas Magnus University, because we see how not only students, not only people from Ukraine, but also our teachers, our lecturers, our staff members, school children and school teachers, they all join the initiatives that we co-create together, that we provide space for. So it's really nice to see those actions kind of joining forces together. And as our rector already mentioned, we accepted more than 360 students since the beginning of war to Vytautas Magnus University. So it means that we have a really large and very diverse community of active students who want to rebuild peace, who want to get to know each other, who want to get to know Lithuanians and their peers here. So we see that they are just, burning in desire to create something, to learn about Lithuanian culture, but also spread Ukrainian culture. So what we do now, and what we actually hope to continue doing, is the youth think tanks, which are happening on a specific themes, as our vice rector already presented. But we want to invite the school children, who we have also hundreds and hundreds of them accepted in Kaunas schools and in Vilnius schools. We invite them to join these initiatives and talk and discuss, and not only to talk together, but actually to feel at home. So this is one of the great things that university community is doing. And with regard to the questions of our staff members and lecturers, they are also joining the initiative. They are teaching, they are giving lectures for our Ukrainian students, for also community builders and community leaders. For example, in this Community Accelerator project, which I'm very glad to hear that it will be continued for the second time. Also, our English teachers are joining the initiative to help students with their English language. So we have an informal English hub at the university where students can come and just, improve their spoken English skills. So it's really an informal initiative supported by our Ukrainian students, volunteers, who join their forces and just help each other, basically. So we have also our English teachers joining this initiative and, supporting with whatever resources they have. And of course, also, I will just briefly mention all the other initiatives that we have, so many stemming from the students themselves, like creating art therapy sessions, which could be regular. And, there's not so many resources needed, just the space, other people who understand and provide support. And we can just join, as you say, kind of heal together, like have this therapeutical effect, but also to get to know each other, to express ourselves creatively or artistically. Like very simple steps, like daily local actions can be actually very powerful. So these are a few initiatives that we plan to continue with, and we'll see how it goes.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for your contributions. And now I would like us to disassociate it a little bit from the main topic of the discussion and to perhaps think more about the concept of leadership. The topic of our panel is Leaders of Tomorrow. So what is exactly leadership today? And what kind of leadership we need for tomorrow, and how can we define a leader in the current world ridden with war? What features do these leaders need? What features do our young generation need to develop as leaders? Now we actually see very perplexed and strange view of the world when some country that used to provide leadership or example of leadership now fail to provide that leadership to our young generation. So who would like to join that discussion first? Definition of leadership. Maybe Denise, would you like to think about now, what leaders do we need and what would make a good leader for community, for the world, for the country, for different tasks that you mentioned, not only in the front line, but also persuading those who are far from the front line and still do not understand that the front is actually at their doorstep.
Okay, you really done it great, because I would like to mention all the Ukrainian young soldiers who are the first examples of leaders. And actually, one of the initial diploma there is Sergei Molchanov, who's we know each other, and he died at age 21, defending the country. And he was a leader. He was a civil society member, but he joined the army in the 19th. So unfortunately, he cannot respond to the question. I think right now the question of leadership, if we speak in not only in the sense of the army leadership and the real leadership, but let's speak more about the civil leadership. It's when you really saying to yourself in a very blunt way what is actually happening, because there is a lot of blah 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 around. Sorry, like I've been to all these conferences on youth work, youth leadership. It's blah blah blah, blah blah blah, and blah 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 one more time. Everyone is doing this. Millions and millions of trainings and forums on nothing, just doing blah blah blah. we need really to finally stop doing this, because it's, I think, the problem is that who actually sees, not in a normal way, but they see the reality better, are Russians. Young Russians, because Russia has a lot of money, which they're sponsoring and investing into the youth army. It's called Yunarmia. And their reality, the reality that they have created for themselves, it's not about blah, blah, blah. It's about actually preparing for the future they want to impose us. And I'm sorry, guys, but we will not develop the super inclusive, super healthy, super ecological countries and world until we have Iran, China, Russia, North Korea here, because their aim is actually to destroy the world order. And we must be blunt with it. We need to stop this blah, blah, blah. And I think the real leaders of today is the people who are actually saying things as they are and not pretending to be. And especially not a lot of politicians who are populists, especially not a lot of NGOs, no matter who are them, youth NGOs, older NGOs, who are doing everything just to receive a grant. They're writing their fake reports and faking it until you make it. It's a good word. It's working in a normal world order, but we don't have it right now. So I think right now the main thing to be a leader, you need to face the reality. The reality is that we are entering the stage where most probably in the coming years we will have so many wars that we will not have enough to sustain all of them. And that's the biggest reality which we are having right now. And until we all realize it, sorry for being, it's my position, maybe you don't agree with it, but until we don't realize it, that the risk is so high that we need to stop doing blah, blah, blah and stop doing and start doing real things, as Ukrainian soldiers are doing right now, as I'm speaking, in Klishchiivka, in Avdiivka, in Sinkivka, in Lastechkina, in Krinki. You most probably have not even heard the name of these villages. But right now, the history is written there. Not in European Parliament, some important conference, not in some wonderful reception because of something. It's written there. So stop doing blah, blah, blah. My biggest advice.
Thank you. Thank you, Denis. And in fact, we have learned the names of the places, small villages that you have mentioned, under the most horrible circumstances. And we still have the Madam Deputy Minister, and we also know that there is definitely a lot of necessity for leadership in among policy decision makers and in policy decisions. And what do you think, actually, as a person who is actually engaged in this activity on a daily basis? So, what skills, what leadership is necessary in the field of decision making now for Ukraine? Denis mentioned that well, all young people need to consider going back and taking those different positions in different fields, right? So in the field of policy, in the field of decision making, what leadership is necessary nowadays?
Thank you for the question. And I think it's particularly pertinent right now. I would say a leader is one who leads by example, who has a strong understanding and dedication to the protection of human rights, and has an inherent moral principle to do those reforms needed if we're talking about the government sphere in terms of implementing public policy, to improve the lives of people, to support and hear different viewpoints, to incorporate policies, but ultimately to design policies based on evidence. And I think this is critically important for Ukraine, but also for other countries, that we really focus on evidence-based policymaking to ensure that the investments that we are making is efficient, effective, it supports the most vulnerable, and really improves the social well-being and social cohesion of the society. I think for us, it's also important to engage with other stakeholders across different areas of society, to work closely with civil society organizations, to work closely with other ministries, of course, in the government, but also certainly to work closely with the private sector. And I think here it's also as private sector, and we actually engage a lot with the private sector in terms of designing and also implementing some of the new social services in Ukraine today. And the strongest leaders with whom I've engaged with are ones who have that inherent moral principle and also believe truly in social corporate responsibility to give back to the communities, to help those in need, and to support individuals in their journey for self-sufficiency, for a better future.
True. And now turning back to Katerina and Mariupol State University. The students now at university, at the displaced University of Mariupol, how do they see their future? I mean, what visions, what dreams do they have?
Thank you so much for this question. We have a common dream for all Ukrainians. So of course, it's our victory and to come back to our homes and going to leadership. Now it's even not a question for our students. They are so great. Every day I face some examples of their courage and their everyday activity. Our boys, students who are unfortunately not with us, they had no any doubts, hesitations, and from the first second they joined the army and they defended their native city, even not telling their parents, of course, not to make another decision. And maybe the most horrible thing that I made in my life is to make some posts that he or she is not with us, and their courage. And just when I like lecturer, of course I'm dealing a lot with students and some fresh examples, and I just remind that we will have an online conference, and my student replied, of course I will join, but only one thing. I'm now driving a car to our guys to Avdiivka, and maybe it would be some problems with connection. It's not problems of her decision to combine study to work, of course, because we all need now to survive and to help our families and to continue and scientific activities and studies. Only maybe it would be some problems with connection. So it's, I guess it's quite representative stories that we are facing every day. And I don't like this phrase that all crisis or war may give us an opportunities, but at least if to try to find some optimistic issues in all this tragedy, that this turbulent time really give us a lot of leaders, both in national level, in Ukraine, in Lithuania, and for our institution, of course, for our university, and to say some informal language, I engaged with students, and when I see that they are posting posts of rector with the huge respect, without any other goals, and I always hear how they discussed, and to be this role model, to make this decision, to be the personal, just example. That's it.
Thank you, wonderful. Ona, would you like to add anything? Community leader. What's the definition of a good community leader?
Well, for me, the community leadership is different in the way that a community leader does not prioritize his or her personal needs, but look at the context and the whole sum of what is needed for the community. He or she is able to suppress the personal ego, which sometimes means even not participate or not leaving or not speaking in front of others, not being too vocal, not being too visible, but letting others go first and exercise and express what they need. Different times, though, require different leadership. And in times like this, I think military leaders do have a louder say because of the circumstances. And the leadership needed is stronger and more concrete and more uniting in this way than softer diplomatic. Overall, I think that whatever leader, whatever times it is, the leader has to be adaptive. The leaders have to be content or situation sensitive and work in a way that's best for that situation and that particular community at that moment, which again sometimes means no vocal, open, and visible leadership by the person at all.
Everyone, thank you for all the contributions to this panel. And I would like to come back to our exhibition that we have here in the corridor. And Denise started the definition of leadership with mentioning this exhibition. And perhaps if we have to embody leadership, so that exhibition would be the best embodiment. And before this conference today, I looked at different universities where this exhibition was shown. And I came across a very important quote that I would like to share with everyone. It said that when your classroom becomes a battlefield, your major is bravery. And I think that this is something that we have to learn today, something that we have to bring to our classrooms, to the students who, thank God, have not yet experienced classroom being a battleship and battlefield, and we hope that they will never experience that, but they need to learn from that example. And our mission at university is to teach them from that example. And it's very important that we learn to win the battles, not only in the battlefield, but also nowadays more and more in different congresses, parliaments, assemblies, who still do not understand. And I think that we at university here in Lithuania, at universities in Lithuania, at universities in Ukraine, our mission is to make our future leaders be capable to win these battles, not only in the battlefield, but also in different diplomatic spheres, because now it appears that that is something that ultimately is the very important battlefield. So thank you the panelists, thank you all the audience, and I'm handing it back to Svetlana.
So much to all speakers. Thank you so much for Madam Vice Rector. And as our forum draws near the end, I would like to invite once more Professor Juozas Saguti, Director of Vytautas Magdos University, for a final speech and a certificate ceremony for the Community Leaders Training Program.
It's a very important moment. For those who participated in the Community Accelerator event, it's always important to have the award that shows that you have gained this competence. For the future, for different networks where you are going to continue your work, this certificate will always verify and confirm that you have this particular competence that you gained during the course. So I will kindly ask the rector to give the certificate, to give that award. I will read the names and the rector will hand the certificate. So I would like to invite Natalia Zaitseva. Natalia is not here today. Jana Vovk. Valentina Voronova. Natalia Vasilieva. Vladislav Toliūnas. Nadia Solodenko. Anastasia Shapovalova. Tetiana Pinaeva. Katerina Pidubna. And Tetiana Nosenko. Lilia Bakhareva. Ala Baniulienė.
It's very similar to graduate students after finishing the university. Only necessary to have a cap.
Next time we'll have the special graduation hats for our ceremony. I mean, we're going to have the second part of Community Accelerator. Edita Barsienė. Olena Bobovič. Євгеній Бородін. Лідія Хольчева. Наталія Діденко. Нійолі Єнєнєнє. Олеся Голодова. Our true community leader of the Ukrainian Center. Надія Кондратюк. Галина Корнєва. Наталія Акішина. Антон Корнєв. Анатолій Корнєв. Олена Король. Another community leader of the Center of Ukraine. Ірина Ковальова. Айда Скрижавичус. Лаура Лапінське. The leader of our KONAS Ukrainian hub. Віра Лященко. Оксана Меткевич. Жанна Мігаль. And last but not least, Ilya Abelyashev. We're really very happy to see on the stage everyone, all the leaders who have increased their potential, their capacity for community building. So for the family photo, all the photographers, take that chance. Let us stay together, somehow focused as a nice community of leaders, of networkers. Welcome.
Надо маме взять.
Thank you so much, everyone. And now it is an honor to invite for a speech His Excellency Ambassador of Ukraine to the Republic of Lithuania, Petro Bešta.
Dear friends, it's really a great honor to speak here. I saw this very lively discussions on very interesting topics. So I congratulate you with this huge event. 2 years ago, Russia launched a war against Ukraine. Ukraine has fought back with bravery and dignity because we know that we are what we are fighting for. We are defending our land, our hope, but above all, we are fighting for our people, for each and every Ukrainian. In both peacetime and wartime, people are the highest value for Ukraine. Preserving, developing, and empowering our people is the main prerequisite for the successful revival and survival of our country. And these are the people, Ukrainians, who surprised the world. Ukrainians has inspired the world. Ukrainians have united the world. And it was indeed 2 years of invincibility. Ukrainians are ready to become groundbreakers. They are forward-looking and understand the needs of tomorrow. And I wholeheartedly thank our Lithuanian friends for their belief in the potential of our people. You have warmly welcomed thousands of Ukrainian families, opening not only the doors of your homes, but also your hearts. You have provided and continue to provide all possible support from the first days of the war until now. Being together in this hall today is yet another testament to your belief in our people, your strong dedication to helping us in all spheres. It is symbolic how we are marking this horrible milestone, 2 years of war. We are talking about the future, about leadership, and looking for ways to strengthen the voices of Ukrainians in Lithuania and beyond. We are witnessing how the mission of the Ukrainian Center is transforming and expanding timely and consistently. To a growing extent, it covers the export track of the assistance to Ukraine and the implementation of long-term projects. Today, the second call for application for the program for Ukrainian community leaders have been announced to be held in March, April this year, and I sincerely thank our Lithuanian partners for this initiative and encourage every Ukrainian to participate. As we draw our pivotal forum to close, I would like to thank the initiators and patrons of the Ukrainian Center, the First Lady of Lithuania, Diana Nausėdienė, and the First Lady of Ukraine, Olena Zelenska, for this multifaceted, unique project that is consistently developing to help Ukrainians. My sincere gratitude to Rector Juozas Augutis, the Vytautas Magnus University community, the Ukrainian Center, for holding today's event. Thanks to all speakers, panelists, and participants for your engagement and commitment to promoting leadership of Ukrainian community. Thank you.
And to finish today's International Forum, I am delighted to extend an invitation for a speech to a president of a unique members of Lithuania, head of the Goethe Institute, Anna Strauss.
I'm a little smaller than the ambassador. Your Excellencies, dear colleagues and friends, it's my honor to give closing remarks today. And I do so, as has been said, as the director of Goethe Institute in Lithuania, but more importantly so, I do so as the current president of the UNIC cluster in Lithuania. UNIC is the European network of organizations engaging in cultural relations. Through culture, UNIC strives to build trust and understanding between the people of Europe and the wider world. And as UNIC Lithuania, we've been working with the Ukraine Center basically since its establishment, and we are delighted that we were able to work with the center in securing the support of UNIC Global for this wonderful community accelerator program. In 2022, in response to the full-scale invasion and the following confirmation of Ukraine's EU candidacy, UNIC launched the Cultures of Solidarity Fund Ukraine. And so far, the fund had two calls, one in 2022 and one in 2023. And in both rounds, the projects of Ukraine Center under Vytautas Magnus University received funding. And I believe this speaks of your professionalism and your excellence. And to my knowledge, you are also the only institution who was selected twice through this competitive call. Yes. And this, I believe, is really the work that we do as network at its best to elevate and to strengthen partners. The Community Accelerator is one of 10 projects that were funded through the latest call and has been implemented. And I think Katarina and Ilya gave a wonderful presentation of how successfully it was implemented, alongside projects in UK and Ukraine, in Romania and Poland, in Serbia, the Netherlands, Germany, Czechia, and Bulgaria. You're very much part of a wider network. We are very impressed with how the Accelerator program has been culminating in today's very enriching and also challenging and thought-provoking forum, and I look forward to the conversations following. Congratulations also from my side to all organizers and speakers of these powerful presentations and contributions today. And I want to add some quotes. So Robert van Horen said in the second panel, every crisis is an opportunity. And this reminded me of the words from the local team of Goethe Institute Ukraine, which has been working tirelessly for 30 years and ongoing and in the future, which they internally shared with the colleagues globally yesterday on the occasion of today's very deeply saddening and maddening anniversary. So the colleagues wrote, the Russian war of aggression has made it impossible to realize our plans and dreams, both private and professional, for the past 2 years. But this time of trial has also given us courage. During this time, we have supported each other, adapted, tried to work harder and more efficiently to help our partners continue their work and in turn contribute to the resilience of Ukrainians. Everyone has come together to make Ukrainian voices heard. So let's keep coming together to make Ukrainian voices heard. One of the accelerator participants wrote in social media, as we saw in the presentation, about being active to be useful where I am at right now. So let's all keep being useful where we are at right now. And Katerina earlier said, in this time, doing nothing or being inactive is simply a no. First Lady Diana Nausidiene said, leaders, your actions matter. They make a change. And First Lady Olena Zelenska said, every voice of yours is important. So thank you especially to the Accelerator community for taking action, for making your voices heard, for elevating your communities, and for making a difference. May you empower much more people in your communities to use their voice and take action. Thank you again to all for the powerful insights and inputs I am personally taking home, and I think all of us are taking home today. And I believe as UNIC, we will keep up and we will strengthen the collaboration with our Ukrainian partners. We will for sure be haunted by, and in a good way, by Denis' advice to cut down on the blah, blah, blah and focus on real things. We second the wish and vision of the rector mentioning in his opening speech a peaceful and happy future of Ukraine and Europe. And let's keep coming together to work for it, work real for it. Thank you. Ačiū. Dėkui.
Thank you so much for the beautiful words. We couldn't wish for the better ending. Our international forum. So let me once more express my deepest gratitude to each and every one of you for your participation, for sharing your heart today, for your passion and commitment. It was really, really inspiring day. And you are cordially invited for a networking reception that will continue to promote casual connections and conversations, exchange the experience and new bonds, and uplift the spirit. Thank you so much and have a wonderful rest of the day.